Hi, it's Gonzo again. I'm not so sure about what's going to happen from this point on because I think we've really got a little bit I think things are picking up and I am not liking where this is going. I mean, we've learned about the curse. The Ooishi's curse. And I am not really certain about continuing because I forgot how real this gets. We just learned about how this curse has started to affect ever since the dam project at Hinamizawa. But nonetheless, I'm a guy of my word and I might as well complete something I started. I mean, it would be kind of bad if I left something unfinished. So, how about we try and figure out what's going to happen? Let's see how this whole thing winds up. Ah, good morning. Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. Oh, shit. You didn't do so badly yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right, Kiichi-kun. Thank you very much. From Mr. Bear. I'm glad you like it. Don't be using it as a pincushion, though. I won't. Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. A bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it. Shit. My now, how diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Keiji-san flicked my forehead. You should set a more brutal trap next time. Seeing that, Rena began to swoon as Mion looked on dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there and nothing fell out of place. The uncertainties I had at the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished. What is it, Kiichi-kun? Didn't get enough sleep? Maybe? I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment. You shouldn't do that. Mion alerted us teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to seats. Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday was the festival. Thank you for all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers. None of us actually helped. I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival causing a ruckus. This time of year might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed a different tone in the voice and started paying attention. You made me ask questions, so don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? And Yuza and everyone replied, yes, ma'am. What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying don't sprout stupid shit. You think it's funny. And I was one of those who need to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity for such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Like that was happening. Today we'll play a classic game of deduction about this. Today let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? A game from overseas. Looks interesting. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose you here. I'm not too bad at this game. Seems Rena didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are that the person who can match the murder weapon and scene of crime wins. There are 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I can see that today's Mion and Rika were written on the suspect cards. A card with my name on it as well, huh? Plenty of different weapons too, like knives, axes, and poison. The locations are pretty nice, like the living room, study, courtyard. Basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. I see. So the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators. Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. Oh, so this is Clue! I think this is what we're going for. We're going with Clue. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct. If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, you lose. Since the game ends, even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed. You learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. The rest you can figure out by playing. So, Mion, what's the penalty? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty? You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff. So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty is pretty simple. Is it really? Is Casey thinking what I'm thinking? You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Mion will send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream, happy family planning manual, other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled to pass out to each player. The real perpetrator, correct weapon, and scene of the murder have been taken out. All the cards I have in my hand are innocent. I'll go first since I'm club president, I guess. Well then, Mion, knife, study. You pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene and ask each person. If at any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. If you don't need to say which one, though. I got it. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered when she asked if they had Mion, knife, and study. So that means Mion and knife and study are all clear. So that's down. Alright, Rena, X Lounge. 2 people said they have one? Out of Rena, X, and Lounge, one of them are correct and it's part of the crime. Wait, even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible either Sadako or Rika has 2 of them. Gay-chan's next, go ahead. Wait just a little. I'm sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. It feels like it's going to be tough. Alright, I have the criminal. What? Already? I'm spinning around in circles and Mion just raised her hand. The murderer is Rika, in the infirmary with poison. Well, Mion drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if the deduction was right. You were right. Ugh. All I needed was one more hand. You couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol. I never used a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. She said it in such a hugely terrifying way with such a cute little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Rena and I were left out in the cold though. How did you do? I couldn't get it at all. Don't worry, I had no idea. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. It's even worse. Going out buying something together as a couple. What if we end up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Guide? I can tell from Geiji's expression he's not very good. That's not true. I'm gonna show you the true power of Sherlock Maibara during the next round. My, sounds wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still a step or two behind. I saw that Mia was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much for me. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched to the thought process needed to win. The important thing is to define the criminal. It's to win. Eureka! Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one. Okay, I didn't even know that. I didn't even... Jesus! What's with all the innuendos? That's gross. I had them hold off the game and head down to the hall. The air was crisp, showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Rena had made her way towards me. Geiji-kun, did you call for me? Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rena, what's your record of this game we're playing? She was taken aback after a moment. She hesitantly opened. Well, all losses. Why'd you ask, I wonder? I could tell from how apprehensive she was in playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull off a last-minute comeback. So I guess both of us will be taking that penalty. Don't accept defeat already. How about we try to go win this? Both of us. How can we? I brought my list to Rena's ear. I redacted. I guess that's redacted. We won't ever know until too late. Is that allowed? Did you forget, Rena? Second rule of the game club. Everything in your power to obtain victory. Use any means necessary. Yeah, I'll try my best. Our plan of attack was rudimentary. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. We did it under the desk, nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information will mean we need to investigate less. With this sort of plan, we'll start off with a big lead over the other guys. Yeah, with this we'll probably win. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, Rena was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. How about we hurry back and we'll work as a duel to surprise everyone. Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It'll be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement. Sorry, what should we do? Come back ahead of me, Rena. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something. Okay, got it. So she turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it would seem like I went to the bathroom. Being one of us suspected something, there could be problems. Well, they figured out sooner or later. Besides, both Rena and I would have to start winning over and over again. And we were both earning enough points to avoid being losers by the time Leon realized what was happening. It's a perfect plan. Not even bad at all. Maibara, may I have a moment? It's a teacher. Things were just getting good. What is it? I'm a bit busy. You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance. A guest? Not like I got one in a hotel. They've been waiting. Please hurry. Rather unfortunate that I have someone waiting for me right before my big match, but I was more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Oh, look! Waiting there looking uncomfortably warm was a middle-aged man, tie sloppily loosened, jacket tucked under his arm. You Maebara? Geichi Maebara? No question, he wasn't a resident here, and this was, without a doubt, the first time he'd met me. Ever since I met Tomatake, I've been running into so many middle-aged men. Yeah? Who might you be? I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you think? The man was completely ignoring my question, pointing over to his car, parked near the gate. Began walking. You gotta be kidding. I have no intention of going along with some geezer I don't even know, and he's asking me to get in the car with him? I'm not gonna bite. Now come on. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what it was about. Even while knowing that conversations that started out like this had never led to anything good. The inside was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. Dad didn't even have one in his car, at least. Let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a bit cranking all the way up. So, what do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me, and started my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, please tell me. Who the heck? I doubt even his close friends will be able to recognize who he was from this expression. It looks like it was taken at the Department of Motor Vehicles. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Maebara, and quite a few of you classmates signed as well. Wait, Tomatake? No hint of his usual unreliable, easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. Then what about this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea who it was. I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomatake last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I know she was a resident of Hinamizawa. When was the last time you saw these two? Night of this festival. We spoke. They seemed pretty close, I guess. Anything bothered you about them? Anything's fine. Go ahead. You can say it. Being asked for every little detail is troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. Did something happen to them? No response to my inquiry, and I replied to that silence in kind. Pretty sure, and I was certain that this guy was a cop. Why? Why was he asking about Tomatake? So what happened to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The word air conditioner felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he finally spoke. You moved here just recently, isn't that right, Maebara? You aware, I wonder, about the stories of Oyashiro? My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Not at all? If you don't, that's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Tomatake told me, actually. How much do you know about it? Dismemberment killing, accidental death, death by illness, followed by suicide, and a lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that always happened today at the festival, ending suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomatake would have kept anything from me. I think there was everything. And I didn't want to think there was anything more than that. Do you know of that curse, Maebara? Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. It was as much that I didn't believe it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own thoughts and doubts. That was the most prominent feeling. Really? Then that's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. What if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in this picture is dead. My mind went blank. What happened to Tomataki? It was seen he died last night, the night of the festival. Do you understand the implications behind that, Mayabara? Implications? Not any for the cause of his death or the reason behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the festival. Meaning this year, the curse had once again. The death of Shiro Tomatake is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. Might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. I was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt, whatever or not, I want to hear the rest. I will only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least that's how I felt. Or how I figured I would have felt if I listened to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered a body on the way back from security detail at the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. Location was, the road into town that becomes paved? Down past the slope on the shoulder around there. There were few streetlights on that road. Its pitch-black darkness was only broken by the light of passing cars and the moon. Stroke of luck that Tomatake was spotted, collapsed on the shoulder. Tomatake was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covering the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first, but when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife? No. Nails. Nails? Fingernails? With those he clawed through? When the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails. What does that mean? Basically, it meant it wasn't a murder, it was suicide. Tomatake thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat, as hard as he could with his own nails. Tore through skin until he started to bleed, and even then he didn't stop. He continued clawing, with enough intensity that it could have peeled off his nails, still clawing. Then as his nails reached those vital arteries that you should never damage, he continued. Blood spattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing in that nature was detected. But it was suicide. I never heard of such a thing. It's a natural way of dying. If this wasn't the mysterious death, then what is it? The way he died in these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if showing both myself and Tomatake, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong. There were a few more suspicious details. From his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on, we concluded he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. That was a given. Hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their throat. Wounds on his hands match a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There were traces where he struck trees and the guardrails within. He was found all over the place. Meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries which were not self-inflicted discovered on him. There was a high probability he was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, he was surrounded and attacked, wandering the night roads in a state of panic. After being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there he began madly tearing his own throat, clawing at it. Then he died. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m. It occurred right after you finished talking to him at the festival. Everyone signed his shirt, then parted ways. Right after that, he shouldn't have been with a woman. What about her? She is missing. Hasn't shown up to work, and she hasn't returned home. There was a very high probability she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought something unfortunate happened to someone so close to me, and it could affect me this deeply. The time I spent with Tomotaki-san was short, but we were the same festival, spending time together, taking part in the same competition. He was one of us. We've been continuing this investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to this curse, villagers here aren't very cooperative. I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomotaki, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from here? I'm sure to have been angry that was the reason he wanted to hear for what happened to me. If things go to the way they've been, the conclusion will be Jiro Tomotaki died from Oyashiro's curse. He turned away from me and gazed off into the distance. That night at that Higurashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos angering him. That's how it was going to turn out. No way he would have inflicted divine punishment on Tomotaki. He had to have been killed by humans, and a cowardly group nonetheless. No way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of someone's curse. I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The dense mood was caught up with a man's hearty laugh. That's how this must be, Mayabara. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomotaki nor I believed in the curse. But with the way things were going, it would just end up with Tomotaki's death marking the 5th year, which would mean Hinamizawa had rejected Tomotaki. Something I couldn't allow. Tomotaki was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year, and he says he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way he would even be cursed by Oyashiro. But there's nothing I could do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No, if you see or hear something that draws your attention, that's all I need. If I see or hear? He seemed to be talking future tense. Things, people, rumors, anything's fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. This is my number. If I'm not there, leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated. If I took it, then whatever I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Help me solve these questions surrounding Tomotaki's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I need to find a murderer who killed my friend. I snatched a piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face. Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Keep this confidential. Understood. From your friends as well. Especially from Sonosake and Furude. Do not inform them. Sonosake? Mion? Why? Are you saying there's something to do with the incident? When my friends' names were brought up abruptly, I'd been told to keep it a secret from them. I became rather mad. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Mion's a close friend of mine. I stabbed at him, but he didn't seem to especially be offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but I may just upset you. Well, out with it! He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking. There's a possibility these strings of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of a village conspiracy. No way! That can't be right! Give me a break. First off, any proof of that? No evidence. Each of the cases were resolved and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. How'd you come to that conclusion then? Every year the enemies of the village die on the day of the festival. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Higurashi was sacred. Basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa? First it was the construction foreman. Then a villager that supported it. Those the village held a grudge against die out one after the other from mysterious causes. The means are different, but the end result's the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. but it couldn't just be shrugged off. So the victims. What about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village, were they? The villagers had suspected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute, but he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards them as a result. So, it's not like he did anything bad. What about that housewife? Did she die just because she was the wife of the brother of the supporter? A little bit of a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomatake? He's not affiliated with the dam project. Was he just killed because he was an outsider? In the beginning, it felt like those related to the dam project, but as years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims being much lower. That's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's so scary about that? It's not just enemies of the village. Just being an outsider is reason enough. Next year's victims are just going to be picked out of the village outsider pool. Might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by? I swallow my words. Here in Himizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough that wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed. The next victim's my family. Was he saying it was going to be me? But what does that have to do with Mion? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests. Oops. Quite fervently so. This is also true of Mion Sonozaki herself. Quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public work offenses on her record because of this. I knew what it meant but to fight. This was the first I've heard of her family leading the protest, though. Well, what did it all mean? Are you saying Mion's family's involved with this string of incidents? Wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying, if it was a conspiracy, then they have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he managed to magnificently avoid the details I really wanted to know. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. It's exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very, very bitter expression. Seemed he understood it well enough. Think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? The reason behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. Nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes, and none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It might cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these missing incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to be a burden to them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was, but it couldn't be helped. I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Ooishi, Okinomiya Police Station. You can call me Kura-chan if you want. Ooishi is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness, the spinning image of a vulgar police officer. Though I'd never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch. I've taken up too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. The door opened with a click, and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot? It was almost cruel heat as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Himizawa suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as the thought crossed my mind. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I had a little break right there. I needed some to drink and to empty myself. I didn't mean to suspect your friends, so please don't misunderstand. I refrained from telling them it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine you don't see or hear anything, Mayabara. There's enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear or see anything. But I'm not a detective, so don't expect too much from me. I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have up till now. Let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later, and farewell, Mayabara. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time has passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tamatagi's death was hard enough as it is, but to think that there was the possibility of a village conspiracy? Or still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved. Nonsense. Impossible. Not those girls. The group that attacked Tomataki? Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here somewhere in Inamizawa? I don't know. All I could say for certain was, I knew Mion couldn't be it. It's me, Chan, the perpetrator. I was starting to hear Rena's voice. With the rope in the lounge. Nope. Oh, no. She clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you just self-destructed over here. Keiji-san, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room. You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided I'm going to be finishing in last place? Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm negative. What? How did she score lower than me? I wasn't even playing. The final match decided the penalty is going to be carried by Rena alone or both of you two. Yeah, right. Just let Rena do the penalty by herself. We made a promise, Keiichi-kun. We will both win. I waited all this time, you know. I'm sorry about that. I followed the initial plan of showing Rena, but I didn't say who the criminal was and just waited for her to call. I got it! I'm the murderer! With poison at the entrance! Is it? Is it? My Rena, quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark? Oh. Rena's correct. Oh, it's decided Keiichi shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Keiichi-kun, let's both do our best. Let's do our best. My fault. I have no choice. Then that's game. Me, Mion, ranked first. Dead last, Keiichi Mayabara, Rena Ryugu. They applauded and the game ended. Problem now was the penalty. Now that I ranked first, I decide what you'll be buying for the gopher penalty. What would she make us buy, I wonder? Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh? I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Whoa, there's a lot written here. What are you talking about? What's she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo conditioner, apple vinegar, fried tofu. What heck? Looks more like a shopping list than penalty. He was certain she was going to win. Rule 7 of the society, you cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. Shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks. This is your grocery list. I promised myself that I want next time I make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. There are more than 4 perpetrators. Search notice. Not a clue. Let's view the new tips. Okay, hypothalamic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue packed under the nails, not someone else's. Undoubtedly by the individual's own. Shape of the scars also matches. Yeah, I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural. It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood. Some of Tamatagi's fingers have been pulled out. Actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails. But really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain will be preventing you from completely pulling them out. And there was a lot of bruises on Tamatagi's body. Clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted by someone or a group of people. According to toxicology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. He fell back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysteric he became. The guy attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. Possible that in such a normal environment, they could perform acts at the same interval, or couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, there are those very rare cases. Ooishi, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon? They only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about claw fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with. They would have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them as well. That's true. Tamatagi's pretty built and tanned. Quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would have been on the higher side. He would have been difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly, it's just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. His opponent was unarmed. The guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he hit him at least once. To surround and take down someone of his physique. Wonder how many people it would have taken. Dimwit. You should have known better than anyone. Have you forgotten your back hot days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down pretty big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I guess about 4. Maybe there was a gap in their strength. They'll manage. There was quite a few perpetrators. So any drunken disorderly groups of more than 4 suspicious? 4 or more. Just if they had that many, couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there'd be no reason to commit suicide. I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. Full of mysteries. That's under serious condition. Well, serious condition, consider... I'm sorry. That's under serious consideration on my end. I'd be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we never encountered a death like this. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Ooishi, Chief is calling you. Thanks. See you around. Yeah, best wishes. Now there's search notice. Shiro Tamatagi, deceased, resided in a cheap hotel in Shizabone City. Registered a name... Well, his name, really. Pen name. Travels via folding bike. No license. Bicycle is found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of the forest path. Present on the day of the festival. Accompanied by missing Mio Takano. Seen around 9 p.m. by police. Location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each session for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among those articles of deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba. Along the Sobu National Railway line? No individual matching the name was in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental. Send to Metro Police. Attached photo. Sent to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Shiro Tomatake. Mia Takano, missing, nurse at Erie Clinic, became close to Tomatake through her passion for wild bird photography. Besides Inokiya blank district blank. Single. Witnessed the company of Tomatake on the festival grounds, currently missing. Abducted? Maybe suspect? An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to thoroughly investigate the relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Ooishi. I'm sorry, that was hilarious. I'm going to continue on with this, so let's exit. And just in case, save and load. Oop. Yeah, save and load. So let's close and continue. Sleepy. That was a really big yawn, Keiichi. I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV until late last night. I'm tired. It was one of those raunchy TV shows you left so much on last night. How extremely vile. Don't jump to conclusions. It's perfectly normal for boys not to be ashamed about. Rika's not patting my head only made me feel worse. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously. My, you think I would just sit here and allow that? I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. Oh. I'd like a light. This is just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head on the desk and drifted into an afternoon nap. Seems Sadako has responded, but I pretend not to hear. Cut it out, Sadako-chan. Keiichi-kun fell asleep. His sleeping face is so cute. You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we would bother him now. Rika's really good girl. Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. The excuse I didn't sleep too much last night because the TV was a lie. I was in bed, but it was the conversation with Ooishi that afternoon, so I didn't get much sleep. Just spending the day like this is almost as if the incident with Tomatake didn't happen. It made me think, was Ooishi just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really don't know anything about it. If I knew I was going to be of any help, I probably would have listened in the first place. It ended up with me again, regretting learning something I didn't need. If I had never learned about it, I would without a doubt be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Ooishi for this. What was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. Appears he vanished the night of the festival. Mian whispered to keep the others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell that she was quite upset. Couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomatake? Tomatake? Not sure. That's all I know. I would have to feign ignorance about this topic because I need to keep it secret. Rather than waking up being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to just sit here, pretend I was asleep to listen in. Wait, why do I have to pretend to be asleep when eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. So, me and the others. There are others, right? 2? But I don't know if it's from the curse or if this is an Oni Kakushi. Oni Kakushi? Oni Kakushi? To be hidden away by a demon? A mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it might be nothing good. Yeah, there was another, right? Right? If it's Ooishi-sama's, yeah. But what, this year at all? Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they'd take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion. Then without us knowing it, someone had, you mean? Maybe. Next could be, I wonder? Don't worry. You got home safely. It's not allowed, right? That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. The term Oni Kakushi was first. To be spirited or demon away. But the context it was used, I guess it's similar to the being spirited away. I suspected that was what it meant because Tomotage and that woman, and it really bugged me that I didn't know her name, was vanished after Watanagashi. The next thing that struck out was what Rena said. There's another one, right? Mian also said if it's Ooishi-was, yeah, was responding to something. If it's Ooishi-was curse, there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mian saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of spiriting away. It seems the curse and being demoned away are different things, and there were phenomena that were paired together. I recalled Tomotake's terrible end. It wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. The horrendous end would be best described as cursed. Then the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away? What I don't know is that there is normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. She was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Ooishi's curse. If I recall, Ooishi should be the guardian deity of Himizawa. Isn't it supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Ooishi said originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there were no longer any distinction between them and regular outsiders. But if that was the case, I would think that I would be more likely the target, having moved here more recently than Rena. If I could push her, I could interfere that she was grimly certain she would be next. I'd probably relay what I heard just now, informing the police for what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. It made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions that left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better to not see the answers to those questions? As I continue to learn more and more, I feel like I've fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events. The teacher approaches. Keiichi, you must awake! In the distance, I could hear the ring of the handbell signaling the start of afternoon classes. I couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my hand up. That moment, when I leaned against the back of my seat, there was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Sadako! Guilty without trial, capital punishment. I furiously jumped up from my seat, and I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces were tied. Not bad, Sadako. While I was asleep, didn't you? You were able to conceal your presence and be able to pull off a fine piece of work. She came right in, so I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Sadako. Oh, did you not notice that our teacher had arrived? Take your seat. Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick of the forehead. Keiichi-san, you're being mean. Hey, don't pick on the younger kids, Maibara. Apologize. I saw Sadako stick her tongue at me, the little brat. Come on, Maibara. I'll apologize. Sorry, Sadako. In any case, I apologize, even if it was a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her. I'm gonna remember this. Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat. I sat down at the meal and told me to. She switched to class representative. So, here's hoping. With the boring classes finished, school is finally over. Now then, what should we do for our club today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last night because of Ooishi. Rena and I weren't even able to test out our strategy.
That's right, Tatey. Today Kichiku and I will be victorious.
Watch how we do. We never played the same game 2 days in a row.
Why not try asking me?
Mia looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up.
Oh god, I completely forgot I need to go help with my uncles today. Sorry guys, I can't do it today.
Help your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes?
Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry. This little man is heading back home.
Mia left, and with that, she rushed off to the exit after snatching the bag.
See, Michan, she sometimes goes help out at her uncle's shop.
Oh, I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff.
She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear.
Oh, I see. She was able to pay for that pound in the games when she's safe. Oh, sorry, I can't. Okay. So she was able to pay for that amount of games with what she saved from there. But wouldn't you call it a part-time job? Isn't it against school policy?
There's a clause that says family businesses are excluded.
Isn't that what she's calling it? So, what now? Pass the club?
So we're done today, I guess.
Wouldn't it be fine even without the club president? Let's do this. I opened the club log and began searching for the deduction game for that ever-growing pile of games. Here it is, the deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting a hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to pay Sadako for what she did during the afternoon break.
I do not mind, but this is fine for Rena and Rika. If Keiichi wants so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together.
If it says it like that... I wanted to go shopping, but there wasn't a club meeting today. I wanted to buy soy sauce and other things. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot.
Well, I guess this has been a while. We should go treasure hunting.
What? Everyone's no longer in the mood. If I kept on trying to push the matter, it may make them realize I have a trick on my sleeve. I'll give up this time. I really was looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through cards as I was still caught up on it.
The next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing.
Well, the murderer is Sadako. The murder weapon will be the pistol, and it was you after all.
What did you say? I'll just...
She looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me.
Keiichi! Lounge! Rope!
I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like so.
Oh god, no! Keiichi's on your beast!
Whew. Well, I guess it's good I got that out of my system.
Remember this, Keiichi? She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Oh, it's so cute.
In a sadistic kind of way. Everyone got ready to go back home. I helped gather up the scattered cards, and I paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Sadako, Rika, Keiichi, Mion. Satoshi. Wait, not all the cards were made by us. Or at least every card besides this one had the name of a club member. Does this mean this Satoshi fellow was a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named on the class roster stuck up on the wall.
Keiichi-kun, let's hurry and finish cleaning up.
Being rushed, I finished quickly. Sadako and Rika had already headed merrily for their lockers. We were the only ones left. By now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave. Rena, there must be quite a few people who transferred to the school, right? I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered.
Yeah, Hinamizawa's a rural town, right? Some people transferred out every now and then.
Satoshi another one of those transferees?
Sorry, I didn't really know.
There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediately.
I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year, I transferred, so maybe I missed him. I didn't hear much about him. I'm sorry.
I'm not so sure. Sorry. Her answer was a lie when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit angry. I'm their friend, aren't I? They don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone's worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
Keiichi-kun, you're making a scary face. Why? Why?
Probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Sorry, I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm just down about it. I rustled her hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying everyday life. My long outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry.
Keiichi-kun, are you tired? Maybe?
She timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made the situation even more unsettling. You think so?
Yeah. You seem to have been a little out of it ever since. Maybe a cold?
I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. Maybe it's not seem like it, but I have perfect attendance since elementary. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer.
It could be that the fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. It's completely different from when you used to live, after all. Of course you've gotten tired. There's so much you need to get used to and remember.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it has to be. Rena was also like that at first, too. I can tell you, you know? You know?
I wonder if she also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came here. How was it? Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face brightened.
The same as Keiichi-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all kind. I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a bit out of place.
She told me all the details when she had moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times. So, Sadako got you?
Yep. There was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke. And with that yeah, that really takes me back.
When were you invited to the club? The first day?
Nah. There wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed part way through. One day she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament.
Come to think of it, she did say she was the first club president. Now I get it.
It's a secret. Michan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win.
Mion? Seriously? I can't even imagine.
She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Seriously, don't tell. I can't believe she was like that. She gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win. Mion's at her best when she's fighting dirty. I began making more friends besides Mii-chan after that, but yeah, it might have only been since you moved here that I have finally felt like I'd gotten used to it. I guess Rena had also been left out in the dark about Ooishi-sama when she just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about it, I'd be considered one of them. I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them. Huh? Did you say something? I'm sorry. Just talking to myself. Keiichi-kun, you're silly. She was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help. But I suddenly stopped. After making up my mind, I spoke. Rena, is there something that everything or everybody is keeping from me? Huh? No, not at all.
You're lying, aren't you? She stopped. Her expression became cold and intense.
What do you mean by that, Keiichi?
Her tone was still the same cheery and lighthearted as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me? After understanding what I meant, she grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regret saying something so rash. But she came back in a way I didn't even expect. Okay, I'm getting really frightened now!
Well then, Keiichi-kun, aren't you keeping something from us as well?
Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I seen this expression from her. This update's very frightening. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same.
Aren't you lies her secrets? Aren't you?
You are secrets? She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. Yesterday with Tomatake and how I felt alienated from the group. Even when I happened to think about it, there were things I knew that I feel guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what happened with Tomatake. To reconsider it, I was keeping it a secret, just the same they didn't tell me about this demon, or deity. Aren't we even... I'm not. No lies. No secrets.
Liar.
Her answer was instant and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say that I'm lying?
Didn't you say that you were calling into the teacher's room yesterday during club meeting?
I know. You didn't go there. I swallowed hard. Clearly it wasn't a bluff. She knew something happened.
The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of a car near the school gate. About a man we don't even know.
She knew everything. She knew I was called out by Ooishi. I heard about the incident as well. She knew all of it.
Who was that man?
I don't know him.
Why does someone you don't know have business with you?
I think I know where this is going to go. I want to know that myself.
Why did you talk about it?
Nothing to do with you guys. Bracing! It was a lie.
Liar!
Jesus fucking hell. This is very freaky. Her scream echoed through the trees, sending frightening birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken in. It was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized the person in front of me wasn't Rena Ryuku. Who was it that was standing before me just now? Who assumed her appearance? I held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating.
Right.
And then she made a facial expression that she would normally have made. It didn't matter that it was her usual smile, it just chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face.
It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with her face is going to chew my nose off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me.
We also have secrets just like you have secrets too.
It was her usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's. Bringing her face closer to mine to almost bump to my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I could nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looks like her, she frightened me to the core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing my spit nervously. After what felt like an eternity and a long, empty silence, she spoke.
Let's go. It's getting chilly.
It was her again, smiling at me once more. She started walking as if nothing had happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped to the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until she was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold. My body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was she? Who was she that looked like Rena? I'm not sure if I want to continue with this. This is more frightening than the anime. Is it going to force me to go through this? This is just... I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Rena going off on me? It's not right. There was something else, or someone else that looked like her. Who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling, knowing that it was someone else and not Rena. So tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem telling Rena like I usually do. The thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head, though those thoughts continued to swirl around my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the steps. Keiichi, is a call from the bookstore. A bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Ooishi. Okinomiya Bookshop? Ooishi-san? Oh, you! Sorry, since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. So he was in his own way rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me to talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to my room on the second floor. Sorry for calling so late. The phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the new number I'm about to give you? Okay. He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it. I began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up. How's it been, Maibara? Did anything strange happen? I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush there. Adult conversation skills left me slack-jawed. You from around here? Yeah, I am. Born and raised. If he's from around here, he might know. Ooishi, do you know what this onikakushi thing is? I believe that's when somebody vanishes because they've been abducted by a demon. A special saying for around here. It has the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else. Or my friends say it, they don't know when I asked. This older man gave me a direct answer. Made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Imizawa was, not sure if I should tell you this. Just don't try to play this off. If you're not going to, I'm not going to tell you anything. No, that's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Imizawa was feared as the village where demons reside. Demons? By demons you mean those pitchfork-carrying things from hell? Or like human-eating monsters. They go down the villages snatching people up and gobbling them. That kind of tale. Is that what this onikakushi really means? They said that the curses and being demoned away happen together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there were people disappearing from those same 5 years. The cursed and being demoned away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, my Baro?
That's what I want to know. I heard Rena and Mion talking. They say that if it was really only Oisha's curse, then both curse and demoning away would happen. He began hemming and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind.
My Baro, do you know the first incident? Murder by dismemberment?
Yeah. One of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right?
Hypothetically. What if he is on the run, but demoned away?
Huh? An outrageous hypothesis from this guy. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They stalked out various locations and investigated every possible route he had, but after 4 years there wasn't even a hint of where he might be. Useless when the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. Then what about the incident the next year, when the man who supported the project in his white book died in an accident? Actually, the husband died. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find a body is considered missing. At the time of the incident, with the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, police divers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end they wouldn't even find her. But that's just them not being able to find a body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it a bit different? You can't say someone's dead without their body. Until a certain number of years passes, by law, she's treated as still alive. Well, I'm not sure if it's right to call that being demoned. The wife's missing. At least that part was reality. 3rd year, Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide? Maibara. That's exactly the same scenario. She supposedly threw herself into the bottomless marsh deep in the forest, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remnants, but no body. Investigative headquarters believe she faked her death and was still alive. I'm not sure we can call these cases as being demoned away. Just as you said, every year one person does go missing. The incident this year, the woman with Tomataki had gone missing. What about the incident with that housewife beaten to death? Who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught. We arrested him. Just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident. What will you see? After he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. Still under investigation as to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime. But you caught him, didn't you? Didn't he have an accomplice? No idea. It's a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now. Because while under investigation, the man died in this holding cell. Swallowed a spork, choked to death. It's not known whether this was an accident or suicide. Meaning for the last 5 years, there's always a person that dies and one that goes missing. Alright. I was surprised as well. I have realized they had that in common. I couldn't believe this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It was just something I had in common. Could it be that those demoned away had something in common? Oishi-san mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it. So, I summarized the events. First year was the dam employee. Second was the wife of a dam project supporter. Third was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth was the victim's family child. And the fifth was the victim's girlfriend. It doesn't seem like there's anything that connects them. With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those do stand out. It does seem like there's a lot. That means the 4th year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if they were all married couples, but not just married, but parents and children. Come to think of it, Tomataki also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in the 4th year, who were they? He was quite mature, 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi Hojo.
Satoshi? That name. Didn't they tell me he transferred out last year? He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything? Come to think of it, when I was transferred, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then where I sat once belonged to the one who was deemed away. It was his seat. I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. A string of mysterious deaths, or Ishira's curse. I now knew how it connected to me. That chilling sensation was the feeling of him caressing the back of my neck. Ishira's curse, huh? It could be that the curse exists. In all honesty, I was begging to believe it. And I was scared. That's why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by man, not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely it seemed. No. The more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging eventually, I'd reach the point where I learned something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'd be me next time. My execution could only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena. She might be the next victim of the curse. Rena Ryugu? She transferred last year. She's your classmate. These incidents really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It was that. It wasn't that. It might be her next. In a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. It felt like she was convinced, almost as if, well, you could say, she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor, that someone who looked like her, but wasn't her, might be unrelated. All these strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me. And so are the fucking images! I see. I'll be doing a bit of investigating on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryugu. Are you asking me to keep her under surveillance? Not what I meant. I want you to watch out for your friend, so she doesn't end up the next victim. At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words. Knock, knock. A knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Keiichi, get the door! On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight? Yeah. My apologies for calling so late. If you find out anything else, let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Keiichi, hurry and open it up. Daddy's got his hands full. What's he even doing? I had stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing in there with a tray. On that tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea. A fairly fancy spread for that household. Even sugar and lemon slices. Everything you could ask for. Quite the show of hospitality. What's going on? What's all this for? Come now, don't play around. I'm coming in. He was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. For my entire life, I'd never seen him act like this. What got into him? So, what were you talking about? I jumped. It's not that I had to keep from my father, but how could I explain to him I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming he was. This late at night. Nothing much. Just a friend. Oh, me the phone? She was here, wasn't she? Rena-chan. Huh? She wasn't here? Come now. I'm trying to keep her from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea, but it looks like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back. How long were we talking? Rena went upstairs about half after, so an hour? You saw her come up the second floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her your room was the door down the hall up the stairs. So she came to my house about an hour ago. He met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on the conversation. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room and he had her come inside and told her my room was on the second floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. And about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs and about an hour passed. Then passed by my dad and returned home. After she came upstairs and until she left, where was she? There was only a short hallway between my room and the stairs. Meaning she, for about an hour, in the hall. Oh, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door in my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All the ominous things and all the nonsense I spoke to him about began to rush through my head. Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled at Dad from upstairs. Well, downstairs, sorry. Dad left a tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the doorway where Rena might have stood at the time. Just now I was talking to Ooishi with my back turned. She was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. All that time in the dimly lit doorway. What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam for 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. This is frightening. I think I'm gonna pause. Wait, notice from the police chief, what? What's this? Oh, thanks for reminding me of that frightful fucking image there, Steam. July 1st, 1982. The Departments 1 through 12. Prefectural Police Headquarters. Director General blank. To the Chief Constable and all faculty members. Regarding cases situating in the Himizawa village. Notice. As cases in Shishibone City, Himizawa village have reported by certain sections of mass media, it has drawn global attention which is causing serious repercussions for local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect their livelihood and prosperity of residents, the following notice has been issued. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinomiya Station 982, case number blank. Hinamizawa Village housewife murder. Dated June blank. Okinomiya Station 982, case number blank. Hinamizawa Village student disappearance. Dated June blank. 2. Non-disclosure of information. Okinoma Station 1979, case number X. Hinamizawa Village site foreman murdered. Date June X. Shira Station 1980, case number X. Shira Natural Park falling accident. Dated. Okinoma Station 1981, case number X. Hinamizawa Village Shindo priest's wife disappearance. Dated June. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management. Ex-Prefecture Police Headquarters. Internal line, blank. Police Affairs Department, blank. I'm just gonna save. It's starting to get very frightening. I'm just gonna stop. This is starting to get to me.